Hello guys, I'm Naval Yamal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we are going to see the MySQL math functions. So let us start with the mathematical functions. So first function we are going to see is the absolute function. So as we all know, like in mathematics, if we use the absolute function, so if it may be any positive number or a negative number, so we would write it in the mod. So I'm talking about absolute function. So let me make it one absolute function. So if you remember, in the mathematics we used to write in this way. So whatever you write, suppose if you're writing -3, so the absolute value of this is 3, if just for example. Okay, so the syntax is also very simple. Just you need to write absolute and you pass on the integer inside that. Okay, any number inside that. So let me show you the example. I'm writing select absolute of 5, or absolute of 5, and let me execute this. So your output will be 5. You can see your output will be 5. So similarly, if I copy this, let me just increase the size here. Okay, now if I write -5 and run this, now you can see -5, still you are getting 5 here. So if you write any positive number or a negative number, the absolute of this will be 5. Okay. Okay, let us see the second type of math function, that is your ceil function. So you can write ceil or you can write a ceiling, both means the same. Ceil or ceiling both have the same synonym and the same meaning. So what does the ceil function mean? If you are coming from any math background or statistics background, you will definitely know this ceil function. So it is very simple. Whatever value is there in the decimal, suppose if you are having 3.5 as your value, decimal value, if you are using ceil, so as a name itself suggests, ceil means it will show you the upper value. So if you run ceil for 3.5, you will get the value as 4. Similarly, you have floor function where you will be getting floor. Floor means the decimal will be lower to the number, so you will get 3 at that time. So the syntax is again very simple. Just use a ceil function and pass on the integer inside that. So let me use select ceil and let me write 3.5 and close this. So if I execute this, I should get the upper value of 3.5. So what is the upper value? It is 4. So ceiling will cover you or will give you the next value, next integer after that. For example, if I write 3.1, actually it is round, it should round it to 3, for example, because it is nearest to 3, not nearest to 4. But if you run this, you will get 4 only. So after 3.2, 3.9, whatever you give, whatever value you pass, you will get the upper value only as 4. So this is how ceil works. So let me give 3.1. Let me copy this for your understanding. Let me do it again. So if I give 3.5, as well as if I give this as 3.9 also, for all these three you will be getting answer as 4 4 4. You can see this. So like ceil will give you the next number, next integer. Similarly, you have the next function that is called a floor function. So floor will give you the lowest number. Let me do it here. So I'm using a floor function. This is the third mathematical function we are seeing. So here, instead of ceil, I'll be using floor. Now you see the answers. So you will be getting 3.1, and if I run this, definitely you get answer as 3. Answer will be 3. So if I use 3.9 also, your answer will be 3 only. So this is how the ceil and the floor will work. So let us see what happens if you try with the negative values. So if I use select Ceil with same minus 4.9. So what does the Ceil value give? Ceil value should give you the upper value like 5, but here we are talking about the negative number, so it will come to 4. You can see this. You can see the value 4, but it is in minus. So if you see the number line, you will get to know that it is increasing. So minus 5, it will come to minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, 0, 1, and so on. So if you have a negative number, Ceil and floor will work exactly opposite. Okay, so let me go with the next type of function in the math function, that is your power function. So you can see here, if you want to calculate any power to the number which is having a base and the exponent and the base, you can use a power function. So let me show you a syntax here. The syntax works in this case in this way. So use a power, and then you use two integers, one is base and one is exponent. Both should be in a integer. So let me use select and suppose a power function. Now I want to calculate base 3 raised to 2. So 3 raised to 2, your answer will be 3 square, your answer will be 9. You can see this. Okay, so this is how the power function works. Let us take one more example. So if I use select power of 5 raised to 3, so 5 into 5 into 5, so you can see how it will work. 5 into 5 into 5, so 5 5s are 25, 25 5s are, so you should get 125 here if I run this. So you can see your answer is 125. Okay, let us go with the next type of function, that is your mod function. So here you have a little bit trickier mod function. In Python we call it as a floor division. We use double hash here, double slash here, but in SQL we use a mod function. So it looks like it takes two parameters, same like a power function. So let me use a syntax here, mod, and it is taking two numbers again. One is your divisor and one will be your dividend. Okay, so first will be dividend, so let me write dividend here, dividend, and second will be your divisor. Okay, divisor. Don't worry, I'll explain you how the mod function works. So if you are using a mod function, whatever number you are giving here, that number will be divided with the divisor, and whatever the remainder you get, you will get that one. For example, let me use select and let me use 3 comma 2. So if I divide 3 by 2, so 2 ones are 2, I'll be getting 1 as a reminder, so the answer will be 1 if I use a mod function here. So it will calculate the remainder. So let me execute this and you see the output. You can see the output is 1 here. So to make it clear, let me take one more example. If I use, for example, 7, or let me take some other number. Let me take 15, which is divisible by, let me take 17 divisible by 5. Okay, so 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are 10, 5 threes are 15. So 5 divided by, sorry, 17 divided by 5, 5 threes are 15, and two numbers will be remainder. So when you run a mod, you get a remainder only. So you can see you get a remainder, that is 2 as your remainder. Yeah. So next type of function we are going to see is the sine function. Very important and very simple mathematical function, that is your sine function. So the syntax is again very simple. It will take only one argument, that is a number or a integer inside your sine function. Sine, it is taking only a integer or a number inside this. So let me use a sine function. For example, if I use select and using a sine function, if I write 100 here for example and run this, let me execute this. So if it is positive number, it will give you 1. If it is negative number, let me copy this and show you. If it is negative number, it will give you -1. Suppose if I give negative number, it will give you -1. You can say -1. If I give a 0, so you will be getting a 0. So let me write it here only, put a comma and write sign of 0. Let me write sign of 111, something like that. Okay, so you want to know that whether the number is 0 or minus, you can use a sign function and see like whether your side is minus or no sign, that it means 0, or if it is positive you get 1. So with the help of sign function you can easily find out the signs of your integers. Okay. So next type of function is your pi function. So if we are talking about a mathematical function, we cannot complete without this pi function. So very simple, no need to pass any argument inside that, because we all know that the value of pi is nothing but 3.1415 and so on. So just write select pi and you close this and execute this. So you will be printing the pi value here, that is 3.141593 and so on. Yeah, so the next function, mathematical function we are going to see is your square root function. So it is simple like Sqrt. So that is a short form of square. This is short form of square and root. Okay, so if you want to find out any uh, square root of a number, so we are using a function called square root. So we use select Sqrt and pass on the number, suppose 25, and run this. So the square root of 25 is 5, so you will be getting 5 here. So very simple, just you pass on one number or one argument, that is an integer, so it will find out the square root of that number. Let us move to the next type of math function, that is your rand function. So actually the short form for this is a rand, but in actually it is a random function. So it will return a random floating point between the range of 0 to 1. So it will return a random floating point between floating point value between 0 to 1. So let me show you. Very simple, just you use select and you write rand and just pass on these two, and without passing any parameter, if you run this, it will give you any number that is in between 0 to 1. It will be random. So if you run this again, you may find out a different numbers. You can see this 0.2999. If you run it again, you may get a random value. Now it is 0.08070 and so on. So if you might think like where would be the use case, so let me give you one use case on this random function. Suppose if I say select a random function, and that should be, I should get 10 numbers from that. So if I run random function, just now we have seen we get only one output, and if I write multiplied by 10, I should get every number like 10 numbers from that. So if I run this, so you can see, okay, what I can tell you, so random will generate any floating point value between 1 to 0. If I multiply it with 10, so it will be a number which will be from 1 to 10. Okay, 1 to 10, not 0 to 1. If I multiply with 100, it will be between 10 to 100. So if I do cover this with a floor here again, so just now we have seen how the floor function works. If I use a floor function in this rand function, you can see this rand. So whatever the random number is generating, that will be multiplied with 10. You will get a values from 1 to 10, and that should be done with a floor or the Ceil. And now you check the output, you can see this. So you get 9. Now if you run this again, you may get any random number 1 to 10, any random number 1 to 9, sorry. sorry, 0 to 9, I guess. Yeah, 0 to 9. You can see 0 to 1. It will be from 0 to 1. So this can be an example for creating an OTP, random OTP, random numbers like this. If you want to do an OTP like 4-digit OTP, 6-digit OTP, you can copy this, make it 10 here, and you can write it 3 times, 4 times. And this is one of the simplest way, but you have a different functions for that. Now if you run this, you can see OTP generated 3 digits. So if I put a comma and copy this code once again, it will be like 4 digits OTP. Okay, let me copy this and put it here. Now let me execute these all. So you will be getting randomly 4 digits. Okay, if I run this, you will get randomly any 4 digits. Okay, let us go with the next type of math function, that is your round function. Okay, so we have seen floor and ceil. So floor will give you the lower number and the ceiling will give you the next upper number or next integer. But what if you want a round off, something like that, so you can use a round function. So round function takes two arguments. One is your integer and how many a number and how many decimals do you want. So the decimals is d. Okay, so let us do that in a real time. Now let me use a select, and suppose I have a number like, for example, 3.59868, something like this, and I want to get the results of only 2 digits. Suppose I want to get only 5 6, something like that. Then I can use a round function for that. So this is your number. When you are using a round function, you need to pass two parameters. How many decimals you want after a point. So if I want only 2 decimals, you can take this 2 decimals. So it will check the second decimal. If it is greater than 5, so it will give you the higher number. You can see this number is 2 decimal. It will check the second decimal. If it is greater than 5, it will go to the next number. So the next number, if it is greater than 5, it will give you 7. Suppose if it is 4, let us see. Okay, let me do it 6 here, and let me copy the same one and paste it here. Now if it is 5 4, okay, now you can see the result here. 5 4, 4 is less than 5, so you are getting 3.5. Let me execute these two at the same time and show you the output. So one is showing 3.57, second is showing 3.55. So this is how the round function works. So similarly, if I use 3 digits, you can see 3 digits, so it will give you 3 digits after a decimal. So your output will be 3.569. So the next number of 9 is 0, and you will get one number added here, so it is 570. Suppose if it is 1 year, so you can see the output. So you will get 5 6 and 1 is less than 5, so you are getting 2 year, like this. Okay, so this is how the round function works. Okay, if you are not passing any argument like 2 3 1, I don't want anything. If I use just select round, like how we have used for floor and ceiling, something like that. So if I have 3 3 4 5, something like that, and if I use a round function, will it work? Yeah, definitely it will work. So you can see here, so it will round off the number. So how it will round off? So it will just check if the after decimal value, if it is greater than 5, it will go to the next number. If it is less than 5, it will come down. So if it is less than 5, it will work like a ceil. If it is greater than 5, it will work like a floor. So if I write here, sorry, let me put a new cell here, new line, and here if I write here as 6, now you can see the output. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just cancel out these and put a comma here. Now you can see I'm using two numbers, and let me execute this. Now you can see one is 3 and one is 4, because after decimal the number is 6, it is going to the next integer, that is 4, and here it is 3. Okay, let us try to take a negative number here. So if I take a negative number, so actually the negative number, if you look at the number line, so you will be getting the next number only, higher number only, but that will be the negative. You can imagine here that is -3. But the interesting part here is in the round. Suppose if I take a negative number at the decimal year, at the second parameter here. So let me copy this and paste it here. So here instead of 1 or 2, if I take -2, what happens? Just think it and then execute it. Okay, just think for 1 or 2 seconds and then you run this. Okay, I'll just run this and you can see the output. So -2, it will give you the 0. So let me take one more example. So here instead of 3, I'm writing 30, 34 or 35, something like that. And if I write -1 here, now you can see what output you will get. So it will round up to the, like it will go down to the next below integer. So the next number, that is if you write -1 here, like -1, so you will be getting the 30 here. So this is how the round function works. I hope you have enjoyed this session, guys. If you like it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, help us grow. Thank you for watching this video. Keep learning.